Welcome to another one of our videos. Today we are going to talk about the top lenses that we use to do wedding videography. I'll be talking about what we're going to be using as a primary videographer, and then Bethany's going to take over and talk about what she uses as a secondary videographer.
If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Bethany, this is my husband Luke, and we are the owners of Loft Studio. We run a successful wedding photography and videography business in Canada, and we absolutely love what we do. One thing we've discovered is we absolutely have a great passion for sharing our content and ideas with others who are looking to grow their business just like we did. One thing that's been true with, our school of life is that we've grown and learned on YouTube, and we want to make sure that we're giving back to that community just like they did to us. And
True.
A lot of things have changed, and so we're here to help you get started and sort of not make the same mistakes that we did. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, then you're in the right place. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe and like our channel, because we release content like this every single week, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you have any questions at all or you want to know more, head on over to the comment section and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, and give us some questions that we can answer for you in one of these videos. We would love to have people give us ideas. That just makes our job that much easier.
Now let's get right into it. Just as a disclaimer, we are Canon users. We love Canon. We use the Canon 5D Mark IV and the Canon EOS R. Just to let you know, I don't know any other lenses for the Sony. The focal lengths might be very similar with other Fuji or Canon, Sony, but I'm just gonna give you the Canon lenses that we use when we do weddings.
Canon, and that's kind of how we got down this train, and we absolutely love it, and we're never gonna change, I hope. Because it would be very expensive if we decided to do that, and we just love Canon. It just sort of speaks to our work, and it really is something that we feel the most comfortable with. So we're gonna talk to you a lot about our Canon stuff today.
So first up, we have the Canon 70-200 f2.8. It does come in a f4 version, which is a bit cheaper. If you're not looking to invest that much into a 2.8, the f4 is also a good lens. Now, the importance of the 70-200 for video during the day is this is going to be your B cam. This is going to be the one that's on your tripod during the ceremony, during the speeches, and during some other events if you feel like you need it, or if you're shooting alone and want that second angle. The benefits of a 70-200 is you can put it all the way back. It won't get in the way of anyone's shot, the photographer, the videographer. And if you put it up high enough in the back that you can zoom in and nobody will be able to walk into that shot, which is really important, especially when you don't have a second shooter with you. This is your third angle. It's your only safe angle as you're moving around. If you stop recording, if your camera fails, if somebody steps in front of your shot, if things don't go according to plan, at least you have your B cam with a really nice long lens on it, taking care of the cutaway shots.
Yeah, whenever we're talking to our clients about, what it's gonna look like when we set up for your videography on your wedding day, it really does talk about the ceremony and the speeches. And that is because we do set up a tripod, and everyone thinks it's like this big hunky thing, on this tripod, like the creepy uncle in the corner. It really isn't. It's just a, little tripod that's gonna be set up, and it's gonna be there to be that safe shot. Because like you said, there's gonna be people, there's gonna be photographers, there's gonna be guests, there's going to be who knows walking in front of yourself, or other different angles that you might have of a second shooter. So we really want to make sure that we have, especially for those important moments, to have a third angle, because hopefully someone doesn't walk in front of all three angles at the same time. I mean, we can always cut to a B-roll at that point, but it is what it is. We do prefer to have as many angles as possible, especially for those important key moments that we can never go back and redo.
Exactly. After the 70-200, once you've established that you have a really good long lens, it doesn't have to be this one specifically if you can't afford it, if you have something else. I know there's kit lenses that go to 100 mil, something like that. Just make sure you have a lens that's really long that you can set up just out of the way, that can still get a nice clear shot without, capturing too much so that you'll walk into your shots. Next up, I use this one here. It's an RF lens that goes on my EOS R. It's the 35 macro. It's a 1.8. Also has image stabilization, which is really nice when you're going around with a gimbal or just handheld. You can really do some decent handheld footage with a stabilized lens. Now, I use this lens from getting ready all the way up until almost all the way until the end of the day.
Yeah, like the last dance and dancing and things like that.
Yeah, it all depends kind of how it's playing out. I usually try to manage with the photographer. If they're really in their face a lot of the times, the 35 might be too wide to get good shots of the couple without having too much interference, so I might switch it out. But really, this lens is my go-to. I can have it all day from beginning to end. It's wide enough that I can get a lot of wide shots, and then when I need to, I just step in and get some of the closer shots. Obviously with COVID, it's been a little bit more difficult, but I do have a gimbal, so it gives me that extra reach, you know? I don't have to go so close to people.
Yeah,
I can just use it like a stick. That's true, we do, but we do find that we have to adjust our working style. We have figured out that we touch people a lot.
Yeah, we do.
to make sure that they're positioned in certain ways. We try to show it. When me and Bethany are working, we show it on each other. We use each other as examples, like, oh, you guys need to, be like this when we take the photo or video.
Obviously not like that, but
yeah, it's cute, and I think it makes people laugh, and that's always a good time.
Yeah, we do pull it out on a wedding day if we really want to get them to break the ice a little bit. If they're feeling a little stressed, Luke and I will pull out some cute little moves. It makes everyone laugh.
All right, back to the lenses. This lens is also a macro lens. We'll talk about another one in a bit, but the macro lens is really nice when you're trying to get really close-up details. Obviously at a wedding, there's lots of details, lots of shiny things like the rings. There's lots of jewelry, watches, there's shoes. There's so many different things that you can get really close-up shots. Even details at the reception, at the ceremony. There's nothing you can't do with this lens as long as there's no restriction of how close you can get to people. During the ceremony is one of the only times when I might recommend a 50 mil or above, just because if you want to get a nice tight shot on the couple, it's really tough with a 35 mil if you're not really close to them. And again, you want to stay out of your B camera shot and out of the photographer shots as well.
Yeah, so I would say 90% of the time it's Luke and I working together, and I almost always shoot with a 50 mil, but we communicate so well that we're able to sort of move as we need to. So we always sort of say, okay, I'm gonna get my shot, did you get your shot? And so we've really kind of built that real communication between each other, and we just really know what we're looking for. So that's been really good. But when we are working with other photographers, because sometimes we go and just shoot video, that's where it can be a little bit tricky on figuring out which kind of lens to have. And so in that case, sometimes we'll switch to a zoom lens, so like a 24-70 or something, just so that way we can have that versatility without having to sort of ask people to move.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that can be a little bit awkward, but if and when you need people to move, you're being paid too. So it is important to sort of communicate that with your couple and with your photographer to say, hey, you know what? Do you mind if I just grab this shot? It looks really good, but you're in it, right? So just being very honest with them. So
yeah, lenses really, you can have favorite ones, you can have the ones that you rely on the most, but really it comes down to adapting to what the day will look like based on venue and reception and photographers and guests, really. It's always kind of, you like having lenses as like a playbook of different things that you can use, and then when you read the day, that's when you should decide on what lenses to use.
Yeah, and we always talk, so don't be afraid. If you have a second shooter there, even if they don't necessarily have a ton of experience, you can always talk to them or share ideas and be like, I don't know what lens I want to use. Sometimes I'll say that to Luke, or Luke will say that to me, I'm not sure which lens I want to use right now. We kind of always default to the same ones, but every once in a while, if we're feeling comfortable, if we feel like we got a good handle on things, or maybe we have enough safe shots that we call it, then we'll kind of play around and use something that we're maybe not as comfortable with, or feel like, we're not going to get as much variety, but it's going to be some really good quality. So don't be afraid to use other lenses, but make sure you get the bulk of what you need to get first, or make sure your second shooter is there getting, what you maybe perhaps normally would be getting if you weren't using a particular lens or something like that, like a wide shot versus a tight shot.
Yeah.
So that probably rolls in really quickly into what a second shooter should be doing and kind of what lenses that our team uses when it comes to second shooting as a videographer. As a second videographer on a wedding day, it really is key that you have some really clear guidelines on what kind of look and feel you're going for the entire day.
Yep.
Now, Luke and I have really perfected this down to we know exactly what we're looking for. We talk about a game plan. We figure out, okay, this is the type of shots that we want to get because this is how we're going to tell the story of the day.
Yep.
And so for us, what's really been important is that we have a variety in our shots. So even though, you know, you're getting this one angle of us, if we were shooting this, Luke would be moving. He might be on a gimbal and, you know, moving side to side to try and get different looks. Maybe the lighting is looking a little bit different and the shadows on one side to another. And then I would most likely be using my go-to lens, which is the 100mm macro lens, 2.8 by Canon, and I would most likely be on a monopod. And the reason for that is that this is going to give me those tight shots that Luke is not going to be able to get while he's on a gimbal. So we've figured out that sort of the secret sauce to our look and our vibe is to have two different perspectives. We might be standing side by side, but we're getting very different things when it comes to the overall look that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And when we blend our sort of two visions together, it just creates magic. So making sure that you find a second shooter that really understands what you're trying to go for is going to be key. And I think, you know, it's just because we're husband and wife and we live together and Luke, you know, we edit beside each other, that we've learned what works and what doesn't. So having two people kind of shoot the same thing and getting the same angles is not going to work. You have to have variety to really make that overall edit and finish, you know, like a masterpiece in our opinion.
Yeah, you made a good point that you should have almost your edit in mind of what kind of shots you're going to be bringing in. It's always nice during ceremonies and speeches. It's pretty scripted on what kind of shots you should be looking for, especially if your B cam is down the aisle with a tight shot. And then you have kind of one on the groom and one on the bride to capture the kind of reaction and talking when they're saying their vows. Now, that being said, some videos, you know, really thrive on having a lot of tight waist up shots, and it's mostly about people. Some like to show a lot of the details of the reception or the ceremony site. So really have kind of an idea, and once you start editing through a lot of the different things, you start to figure out what lenses gave you the best shots, which ones are kind of the safer ones to use, and which ones give you more of the creative edge shots that you can throw in there, and the eye candy of the videos. And Bethany's 100mm gives us a really nice variety compared to the 7200 that we use, compared to the 34. But I would also suggest even Bethany could use a 7200 as well, because that would give her a variety on top of the 100. Unfortunately, we only have one of the 7200s, and it's our tripod one, but maybe down the line we'll be able to get another 7200, and we'll be able to increase it a little bit more. My end goal is to have 4 cameras going at the same time. You know, full production, lights, action.
Camera.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not feasible depending on where you're getting married. We don't do a lot of super grand weddings right now. Yeah, I know, I said right now, yet. But I'd love to make it into a bigger production, and I think we're working our way up there. It's going to be a big year in 2021, and we're really excited for what's to come.
Yeah. So we hope that this helps you, you know, when you're narrowing down your choices when it comes to lenses. You know, these are just 3 lenses of, you know, a multitude of ones that you could choose from. And they are the ones that we probably go to the most. They give us enough variety. They give us, you know, the look and feel that our clients love. And it makes us feel like really good about what we're doing, because we know that these lenses are going to give us that final look that's really just going to make us stand out and feel happy with the end result. And that's really what it's all about, is being happy with what you created. I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but we always talk about at the end of the day being like, okay, I think I got some good stuff, you know, like I think we got it, but like, cause it goes so fast, it goes by so quickly, you're just hoping that, you know, you've got like every single moment that you could have, and then we always love reliving it, you know, afterwards and being like, oh yeah, I nailed that, like we really nailed it, and that really does come down to being comfortable and knowing what you're going for and being able to tell a story that you've sort of set out to tell, right?
Yeah. And then I just really noticed that the theme with all these lenses is they're all image stabilized lenses, all three of them. And I can't stress enough how important that is, especially with the longer lenses. The 35, not so much, but you can handhold a 35 and it looks like it's on a stabilizer. It's incredible what image stabilization and what technology is doing nowadays. And now with the newer cameras that are all coming out with Canon, the in-body image stabilization, we haven't got a chance to get our hands on it yet. But one day, you know, down the line, we're gonna get that, and the lenses are gonna change too. So this is just what we use now, and it's just to give you a good concept of what to look for. Again, try, rent before you buy. These are big investments, and we'd love to see if you have other lenses that you love using. Put them down in the comment. Let us know what you use in your kit, what you think of these lenses. If you've used these ones, what's the equivalent of other ones in Sony, Fuji, Nikon, things like that. Yeah, just let us know what it is that you use and what you think of our lenses.
Thanks again for watching. We really hope that you took away some tips and things about these types of lenses. And even though they are big investments, you know, this is just like a small portion of what we use on a wedding day. But, you know, this is a really great start. You don't need to have every single lens to be able to go out there and create beautiful things. And, you know, if we had to, we could probably shoot a whole day with just these 3 lenses if we really needed to. So don't be shy, like know that you don't have to have every single, you know, lens and camera out there to make, you know, beautiful things for people. So don't be shy, reach out to us if you have any questions. We're here to help, we're here to serve you. You know, our philosophy is that you can learn pretty much anything on YouTube these days, and so we're here to help you do that, and we're here to help you create, and we're so excited to have you here, and we can't wait to see you next week. So make sure you subscribe. I know he always forgets that, but you gotta subscribe or else you're gonna miss the videos each week.
Well, I thought you were gonna wave. You always wave at the end of the video. But yeah, like the video, subscribe. We're releasing these videos every single week just for you, for people like you that want to learn about either us or about how we do things, and we just want to give back to the community that helped us become who we are today.
Yeah. So see you next time.
Oh, you have to wait now.
Bye.
Bye.